Most people, when staring into the eyes of a notorious criminal, are paralyzed by fear. But 17-year-old Lisa McVey wasn't most people. While she was being held with a weapon pressed against her, Lisa wasn't just praying for survival. She was conducting an investigation. She was counting the steps to the bathroom. She was memorizing the texture of the carpet. She was placing biological evidence in areas that would later serve as a forensic map. Today, we go inside the mind of the young woman who was too observant to be defeated, and the strategic wit that brought down one of Florida's most prolific offenders. In 1984, Tampa was a city under a dark cloud. A notorious criminal was moving through the streets, targeting residents with an alarming frequency. This individual was Bobby Joe Long, who was meticulous in his offences and who had already been responsible for the unaliving of at least 10 women. Law enforcement was pursuing a ghost, with no leads and no survivors to tell the tale. Until November 3rd. Lisa McVey was cycling home from her late-night shift at a donut shop. She was exhausted, navigating a difficult home life where she often felt overlooked. But that night, she was thrust into a 26-hour ordeal. While held against her will, Lisa did something no one else had managed to do. She turned her traumatic experience into a masterclass in forensic observation. In this video, we're exploring the incredible story of how Lisa McVey used psychological strategy and data collection to ensure she was Bobby Joe Long's final target. It was 2 a.m. Lisa was just blocks from home when she was intercepted and taken from her bike. Her captor immediately used a blindfold, a move designed to disorient his targets and maintain total control. But here is where Lisa's response diverges from typical patterns. Instead of succumbing to total shock, her mind shifted into an analytical state. She later described it as a form of detachment, as if she were observing the events from a distance to better process the information. While confined in the vehicle, Lisa began her first report. She couldn't see her surroundings, but she could feel and hear them. She counted every turn. She noted the transition of sound as the tires moved from smooth pavement to rough gravel. She timed the duration between stops to estimate the distance traveled. When they arrived at the apartment, she was forced inside. Even while her eyes were covered, she reached out to touch the doorframe and the walls, noting the specific textures. She was building a 3-dimensional map of the location in her mind, even while enduring an unimaginable confrontation. This is the phase that truly highlights Lisa's brilliance. She realized that to change the outcome of this encounter, she had to transition from the prey to a relatable human being in his eyes. She began to engage him in conversation with a calculated sense of empathy. She developed a narrative, telling him she was the sole caregiver for a sick father. By doing this, she tapped into the offender's own psychological need for connection, positioning herself as someone who understood his internal struggles. But her strategy wasn't just verbal. While in the bathroom, she intentionally left her fingerprints on the underside of the toilet seat and the back of the sink. She took strands of her own hair and tucked them behind the headboard of the bed. She was effectively marking the scene, ensuring that if she didn't return, the evidence would remain to speak for her. After 26 hours of psychological maneuvering, Lisa achieved what seemed impossible. She convinced him to release her. He left her in an empty parking lot with instructions not to look back. Lisa didn't just flee. She continued to gather data. She counted the exact number of steps to the nearest phone booth to help police calculate the location of the drop-off. However, when she reached authorities, she faced a common hurdle in high-stakes cases: skepticism. Because of her detailed memory and her background as a troubled teenager, some officers initially doubted her account. They found her level of detail almost too precise to be true. Fortunately, one detective recognized the value of her testimony. He saw a witness who could describe the exact shade of the carpet, the unique carpeted dashboard of the vehicle, and the specific militaria-style clothing the offender wore. Lisa's mental map was a forensic breakthrough. She provided a description of a very rare vehicle feature, a Dodge Magnum with a carpeted dashboard. She also recalled a specific red light she caught a glimpse of from beneath her blindfold. Using these specific data points, investigators narrowed their search. When they located a matching vehicle and followed it to an apartment complex, the physical environment mirrored Lisa's description exactly, from the gravel driveway to the number of stairs leading to the unit. When the forensic team processed the apartment, they found every marker Lisa had hidden: the hair, the fingerprints, and the fibers. Because of her strategic thinking, police were able to link this individual to a string of unsolved cases across the state. He turned out to be a notorious criminal who had been evading justice for years. The legacy of this story is one of incredible transformation. Lisa McVey did not let this ordeal define her life course. She used it as a foundation for her future. She eventually became a deputy sheriff in the same county where the incident occurred, dedicating her career to protecting others and ensuring people who experienced similar crimes were always believed. In 2019, when Bobby finally faced his ultimate sentence, Lisa was there to witness the conclusion of the case she helped build. Lisa McVey's story is a profound example of human resilience and the power of a focused mind under pressure. If you found her strategic brilliance as inspiring as we did, please hit the like button. Your support helps us share these stories and the pursuit of justice. Subscribe to True Crime Unsealed TV for more educational, deep dives into the strategies used to solve the world's most complex cases. Check out our analysis of Other, who outsmarted those in control right here. Stay observant, stay vigilant, and thank you for watching.